Welcome, my name is Kris Fulton. I'm here with Lamill Coffee, supporting the Hario booth here at SCAA 2014. We're going to take a look at the beam heater right here. So this year, new for Hario, we have this beam heater. It's actually not a new product, but it's new for the United States market this year. We have all certifications necessary in order to allow us to have it in any cafe here in the States. The great thing about the beam heater is actually the soft heat that emits off the halogen lamp. So it's actually a really high-powered halogen lamp that actually emits a heat to heat the water up necessary for the siphon. And you can use open flame, you can use any kind of heat source, but for me, the beam heater is great because it actually is on a dimmer switch. So you have a lot more control over the heat coming off the lamp, and also you have a lot more control over the direct heat on the actual coffee as well too. So a much softer heat and a much more controllable method. And also it's not as dangerous as having the open flame in the cafe as well. So this siphon right here is actually one of the newer siphons. It's called the Hario Next Siphon. It's the same actual principle of the siphon, a little bit more sexy design. You have a neoprene handler right here, which is a little more ergonomic for the user. And you have a choice between a metal filter or a cloth filter as traditional. So metal filter is great because it's reusable. Lets a little bit more of the oils through, a little bit more of the sediment, so you have a little more body you get for the siphon. And I love it because you can rinse it out and reuse it over and over and over again. So I'm going to get this guy started right here. And so Hario is actually a company based in Japan. They've been around for a very long time, established in 1927. And Hario actually means king of glass in Japanese. So all their stuff is all about glassware. All these products here, all the glass products, are all heat resistant. They can go directly over top an open flame, not crack, and they're very, very solid, very substantial as well too. So Hario's been kind of in the past probably 5 or 10 years now, has been cemented in the especially coffee and tea world for their products. And the siphon's just one of those things that gets a lot of attention from people. It's really cool to impress people on how to make coffee with this little contraption right here. So while this guy's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and grind some coffee. Some coffee right over here. And so what's happening right now is that the halogen lamp is getting the hot water to the right temperature. And how the siphon works, it's all about pressure. So essentially the hot water is going to create a seal between the bottom chamber here and the top chamber. At the bottom of the top chamber is a rubber seal. Once the water gets to the right temperature, I'm going to create that seal. And that's going to create a vacuum, which is going to draw the water from the bottom chamber up here to the top chamber. Once all the water is here in the top chamber, I'm going to introduce the coffee to the hot water, stir to fully incorporate, and allow it to sit for a certain amount of time. Once it's set for a appropriate amount of time, I'm going to cut off the heat and break that seal and actually cause a vacuum to happen between the top and bottom chamber to suck the coffee down to the bottom chamber. And as it's being sucked down, the ground coffee is going to be filtered out by that metal filter. So at the bottom of the carafe, you're going to be left with fresh brewed coffee, and at the top of the carafe, you're going to have all the ground coffee. So inside the bottom chamber is actually a metal ball bearing chain, and it's actually an indicator as to how hot the water is. So what I'm waiting for is actually a rapid boil to happen off that chain to indicate that the water is at the right temperature in order to connect the two chambers together. Another cool feature of the beam heater, you can actually daisy chain the two together. So this beam heater right here is actually plugged into this beam heater. You can chain about 3 together in a row if you wanted to have 3 set up in your cafe and to have one plug go to your actual outlet. So instead of having to have multiple plugs to the outlet, you can have one right here chains into this one, and that chains into this one over here. This one's actually plugged into the power source at the bottom. You wait for not full boil, like right before boil, and then you attach the two chambers together. The water will draw up. Drops about 10 degrees or so. So at the top of the chamber, it's around 200 degrees, 198. Once all the water gets up there, at this point now, I'm getting kind of a boil, so I'm going to turn it down just a little bit to kind of stabilize the heat. And now we're going to introduce the coffee. Get it nice and saturated. Siphon for me has been one of the most interesting flavor profiles I've had in coffee in general. You get the full body and richness of a full immersion brew, like you would for a French press. But you get the same clarity as you would for a percolator brew, as you would for like a V60 or something like that, or pour over. With the metal filter, you get a little bit more body and a little bit more sediment, and also a little bit more of the oils too. But it's still fairly clean. I mean, the holes on the metal filter are very, very small, and they hold back a lot of the fines and a lot of the things that kind of attribute to the heavier body for your French press. For me, it's kind of right in the middle between the French press and the pour over in terms of the body and the kind of the clarity and flavor. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and break the seal. Just going to move it right over here away from the heat. And that's going to cause that seal to break and cause a vacuum to start. So that vacuum is actually sucking the coffee down to the bottom chamber right now. Great, I'm going to remove this right here, pull it to the side. My grind's a little seized up. And then now the stand becomes the handle for pouring. There you go. Siphon. Thank you.